Rubio warns of radical Islam's global expansionist ambitions, labels U.S. as primary target. Senator Marco Rubio, RFL, a prominent voice on national security and foreign policy, issued a stark warning about the ideological and territorial ambitions of radical Islamist movements, describing them as a revolutionary force intent on global domination rather than coexistence within limited borders. In a statement posted to X, Rubio declared, "Radical Islam has shown that their desire is not simply to occupy one part of the world and be happy with their own little caliphate. They want to expand. It's revolutionary in its nature. It seeks to expand and control more territories and more people. That's a clear and imminent threat to the world and to the broader West, but especially the United States, who they identify as the chief source of evil on the planet." The Florida senator's remarks come amid ongoing debates over U.S. counterterrorism strategy, Middle East policy, and the persistence of jihadist ideologies more than 2 decades after 9/11, and nearly a decade after the territorial defeat of the ISIS caliphate in Iraq and Syria.
Ultimately, all radical Islamic movements in the world identify the West writ large, but the United States in particular, as the greatest evil on the earth. And every chance they have, the notion that somehow radical Islam would be comfortable with simply controlling some province in Iraq or Syria is just not borne out by history. Radical Islam has shown that their desire is not simply to occupy one part of the world and be happy with their own little caliphate. They want to expand. It's revolutionary in its nature. It seeks to expand and control more territories and more people. And radical Islam has designs openly on the West, on the United States, on Europe. We've seen that progress there as well. And they are prepared to conduct acts of terrorism. In the case of Iran, nation-state actions, assassinations, murders, you name it, whatever it takes for them to gain their influence and ultimately their domination of different cultures and societies. That's a clear and imminent threat to the world and to the broader West, but especially to the United States, who they identify as the chief source of evil on the planet. Okay, the reason why they hate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the leadership of the UAE, of Bahrain, is because they've allowed the United States to partner with them. That's why they hate them. They consider them infidels for it. They hate Israel. But they also hate America, and they hate anywhere in the world that we have influence. They seek to attack it, including here in the homeland. If you look at the domestic terrorists, at the attacks that have happened here domestically, the overwhelming majority of them have been inspired by radical Islamic viewpoints. And that includes the shooting in the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. That includes the Saudi pilot in Pensacola, my home state, 2 attacks.
Rubio has long argued that the threat from radical Islam transcends specific terrorist organizations and is rooted in a broader ideological movement that views territorial expansion and the imposition of strict Islamic governance as religious imperatives. Analysts note that Rubio's framing echoes historical concerns about totalitarian ideologies that reject containment. Groups such as ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and Iran-backed militias have repeatedly articulated goals of establishing a global Islamic order, with the United States and its allies labeled as the primary obstacles. While the physical caliphate proclaimed by ISIS in 2014 was dismantled by a U.S.-led coalition by 2019, jihadist organizations continue to control or contest territory in parts of Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia. The 2021 Taliban takeover of Afghanistan and the rapid growth of ISIS affiliates in the Sahel and Mozambique have reinforced concerns that the underlying expansionist ideology remains intact. Rubio's comments also reflect growing Republican criticism of the Biden administration's counterterrorism posture, including its 2021 withdrawal from Afghanistan and its focus on great power competition with China and Russia rather than sustained counter-jihadist operations. As the U.S. approaches the 2026 midterm elections and the next presidential cycle, national security and the nature of the jihadist threat are expected to remain central issues, with figures like Rubio advocating a more assertive ideological and military confrontation with radical Islamist movements worldwide.